everyone, welcome back to another monthly TBR video. Today we're going to be choosing my August TBR using the prompts jar again. I don't really have anything specific that I want to read in August, but I am hoping we can lean towards some more fantasy picks. I feel like recently we've had a lot of romance, a lot of historical fiction, a lot of literary fiction, and while they have all been great and I am really enjoying reading those, I just want some fantasy back. I feel like I'm in the mood to get stuck into a really good fantasy romance series. That's the only thing that I'm really hoping for this month. But other than that, I'm pretty open. I don't really mind what I read this month, so it should make for a really interesting, varied TBR, hopefully. Before we get started with my picks for August, let's quickly recap how I did with my July TBR. I'll have them on screen here now. So these are the 6 books that we chose in July, and of these 6, I managed to read 5 of them. The only one I didn't get to was Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I did do that on purpose because I'm hoping to read that one next weekend as part of a vlog, so I did put it off on purpose and I will be reading that one. I think I did really well this month. I managed to read them all, or I will manage to read them all, and I did film a reading vlog, which will be the last video that went up on my channel, which was reading some of these. If you want to see my live thoughts and just a nice summary reading vlog, then I'll leave that linked down below and you can get my thoughts on them. But yeah, it was a really good reading month, so I am hoping we can get the same for August now. So with that said, let's get straight into the first pick for August. Okay, first pick. Let's see if we can get that fantasy series on the TBR straight away. We have... I think that's focusing now, I'm not too sure. I think the focus is a bit off on my camera today. A thriller. Not the fantasy I wanted. I don't have any thrillers on my bookshelf, so we're going straight to Goodreads. I don't think I have that many thrillers on my Goodreads list. Thriller. I don't know if I have any thrillers. I'm sure I'd added some, but maybe not. I'm not really a thriller reader. I read The Silent Patient this year and I really enjoyed that, and also The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I'm actually quite shocked that I haven't added any more. Wait. Is that technically? Okay, I don't think this is technically what I had in mind when I put thriller into this jar. I was expecting more of like a Frida McFadden, the gripping adult thrillers, but I've just checked and The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes is under the thriller genre on Goodreads, so I do think this one counts and it is a series that I want to get into. So it says perfect for fans of Criminal Minds and A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. So I didn't read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, but I have seen some Criminal Minds, and I think it's more just a young group of people who help the FBI solve crimes, and they all have an ability, but not a magical ability, just that they're all really good at something. So there's that character in Criminal Minds, I'll put him on screen because I can't remember his name, but this character, he's just really smart and he can just solve things quickly. I think these are teenagers who are quite like that as well, maybe. I'm not too sure, but it does sound very interesting. So we're going to go with that one as our first pick for August. That's The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. I was really nervous for a second there. Right, on to pick number 2. Fantasy. I feel like I did this last month and I didn't get a single fantasy. Pick number 2, we have most recent, I think I folded this one up last month and put it back in the jar because it was a good one. Most recent purchase. I'm happy about this one because it means I can read one of my physical books again. So my most recent purchases are these 3 by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I've read Malibu Rising and Atmosphere by her and I love them both. So I definitely want to read one of these. And did I go shopping again? Wait, did I? No, that was the trip before. I didn't buy those the last time I went shopping. I bought those the time before last. So it's not those books, which actually is quite upsetting because I was hoping I was going to get to read a new Taylor Jenkins Reid book then, but it's not those. We bought One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune the last time we went shopping. I also bought It's a Love... Oh no, I've read that one. I'm completely forgetting which books we bought last time I went shopping now. House in the Cerulean Sea, which I'd already read. The Women That's what we bought. We bought The Women by Kristen Hanna, One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune, and then the other ones were trophy books. We bought The House in the Cerulean Sea, which I've already read, and I really don't, maybe we just bought 3 books. Maybe we just bought these 3. So yeah, most recent purchase would be The Women by Kristen Hanna or One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune, and I don't know which one. Oh, I don't know. Okay, so The Women is historical fiction, and I know we're following a nurse during the Vietnam War and getting to see what it was like being a woman during that time, and I think it focuses a lot more on how women were seen, because obviously when you think about the wars, a lot of the focus is on the soldiers and the men that went to war, and I think that kind of highlights that there were women there as well and the roles that they played. So I think it will be a really good book and a really good one to get into. And then One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. I've heard a lot about this one because it seems to be like the book of the summer. It's giving everyone like the summer vibes. It's set like on the water in this bay area, and it really is the perfect summer book, I think. But there's 2 books that come before this, and I'm still debating whether I want to read those first before going into this one, because the characters mentioned here are mentioned in one of the earlier books. So I've been on the fence a bit as to whether I'm going to just jump into this one or start those ones. I don't know if I can make that decision right now, so I might have to go with The Women by Kristen Hanna, which isn't a bad thing because I am really excited to read this one, and I read The Nightingale 2 months ago, I think. Really enjoyed it, really enjoyed her writing and how eye-opening it was to read that book, so we're going to have to go with The Women by Kristen Hanna. We just have to. Okay, so pick number 2 is going to be The Women by Kristen Hanna. I'm quite excited now to get into this one now that we've picked it. Hopefully my only emotional read for the month. I think this one could be quite emotional as well, so we'll try and limit it to this one because I had quite an emotional period overlapping like June and July, so we'll try and limit it a bit this time. Let's go on to pick number 3. Fantasy. We want fantasy. Okay. Oh, it's upside down. What do we have? Oh, a book with more than 400 pages. I feel like this could be our chance to choose the one that I want to choose. Let's see, let's see, let's see. So there's 2 fantasy series that I want to get into. I've been hearing about them a lot and they just sound really good. So I think this one leaves me quite open to be able to choose one of those. So let's see if they're over 400 pages. They're both Goodreads picks and I'll read them on my Kindle. So the first one is Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. The paperback is 497 pages, it says on Goodreads. So this could be an option. So in this one, I think we're following 2 sisters. I think one has been like trapped in these like Caraval style games and the other sister goes in looking for her. Maybe? I'm not really too sure, but it just sounds so interesting and so fun, and the world I think is quite gothic. So the genres have like gothic, dark romance, horror, dark, fantasy. So it feels like it's going to be quite a good setting for a romance series, and it just sounds quite fun as well. So this is definitely one that I want to get into. So Phantasma is the first option. The second one is The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen, and this is a bit of a longer series, but I've seen Alex from Roselle Reads. If you haven't seen her channel, then please go and check her out because she's just the perfect person to get your fantasy recommendations from, and she creates such calming, cozy videos. She has a really cute dog, and yeah, I've just been really enjoying her videos recently. So I'll leave her channel linked down below if you want to go and check her out and get some good fantasy recs. But she mentioned this series quite a few times this year. I really want to get stuck into it and see what it's all about. I think we're following a princess in this one who has been raised knowing that she's going to have to go into a rival kingdom to marry the king there and kind of overthrow him from the inside. I think that's what the whole series is about. I'm not too sure. I kind of like to go into fantasy series a bit blind, but when I hear people talking about them and getting excited by them, then it does definitely intrigue me. And I think that's the storyline as well, that she goes to this rival kingdom to marry this king but starts to uncover things, and maybe he isn't exactly as she's been brought up to believe, or there's other things happening in both kingdoms and a lot for her to uncover for herself. I think it does sound very interesting, and it's definitely between Phantasma or The Bridge Kingdom. The Bridge Kingdom is 430 pages, the first book, so we can definitely choose one of those. In my mind, whenever I think I'm gonna go for that one, I start to lean back towards the other one, so I'm not too sure. I'm hoping we get another prompt that allows me to choose the one that we haven't chosen now, because I think I just want to get stuck into both series so much, and they seem like the perfect fantasy worlds to just get lost into and exactly what I need right now. So for this pick, we're going to go with The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. That's what we're going to go with. That's pick number 3. I'm looking forward to getting stuck into that world. So we finally got a fantasy pick. I was really getting worried that I wasn't going to get into a fantasy series this month again. Let's move on to pick number 4. I don't really mind now. I'm very easy. Although I'm very happy with the 3 we've got so far as well. Okay, pick number 4. Oh, is that upside down? Oh no. Lowest rated on Goodreads. Oh, it's a good thing that I've got 3 that I'm happy with so far, because we might not be so happy with this one. Oh, actually, let me screen record for this one. Okay, so let's see. What is lowest rated on my Goodreads? Sort by average rating, then new releases. Right. Oh, I feel like I need to cheat a little bit here. Okay, so we have Hayley Pham's book, obviously, Just Friends, that hasn't released yet, and I think these are only showing up here because they don't have many ratings. And then How to Write a Love Story, again, hasn't been released yet, so that's there. The lowest one that has been released is The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling. I feel like I need to cheat a little bit because this is a Halloween book and it's August. We're in the midst of summer. I don't want to read a Halloween book, and I don't feel like it's going to do it justice if I read it now. So I feel okay about cheating with this one because we don't want to read a Halloween book in August. So I'm not going to choose that one. Oh my God. And then it's Butter. Maybe I don't cheat. Maybe I go back to the Ex-Hex because Butter I think is like a really long book. How long is it? Oh, it's only 464 pages. I just feel like because I have The Women by Kristin Hannah and I'm getting into a new fantasy series, I just feel like Butter is quite like a big read, and I'm not really feeling reading that one either. Maybe I go back to the Ex-Hex. And we just have Halloween in August. Let's pretend that I didn't try and cheat there. I stuck to it, I stuck to the rules, and we're gonna go with The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling. Because what's that? That's 300 pages. It's a fun romance. That's what I need on my TBR. We're getting into 2 series already with The Naturals and The Bridge Kingdom. We have The Women. I'm not feeling reading Butter right now. At some point I do want to read it because it does sound like an interesting book, but just not this month. Just not this month. We are going to go with The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling. And maybe I'll read it towards the end of the month, like going into September, because then we're starting to get into the sort of autumn vibes and spooky season is coming. So we're gonna go for The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling. That's really not what I wanted though. That's fine, I'm happy with that one. So that was prompt number 4. So let's do prompt number 5. Oh, I don't know what I want. I don't know. Let's see. Don't know what it says. 5-star prediction. Ooh, 5-star prediction. I might just not even look at Goodreads. Should I not? Wait, are there any that I think I need to look at now? I don't think Phantasma's going to be 5-star. I think it's going to be a fun fantasy romance that's like 4-star, a little bit higher maybe, but I don't think Phantasma's going to be 5 stars for me. Oh, right, let me just have a quick browse on Goodreads, one sec. Okay, no, there are some good ones on there and some that could possibly be 5-star predictions, but there are 2 on my shelf that I also think are going to be 5 stars, so I feel like I just need to choose one of those, and I do want to read both of them. So they are going to be The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It's so popular and I've loved the 2 books that I've read from her so far, so I'm very confident that this may be a 5-star read, and I think it gives the vibes of like The Last Great American Dynasty by Taylor Swift, and I do feel like this one is going to be 5 stars. So this is one option, and then option number 2, we're going for Emily Henry. Funny Story by Emily Henry. I also read 2 of her books this year. Book Lovers, that was the first book I read from her and I gave it 5 stars. I love that one. And then the second read was Beach Read, and I didn't love that one as much. I didn't really love Gus. Something about him, I didn't love him as much, so I just didn't love the book as much for that reason. But Funny Story, I just feel like is going to be much more of like a fun rom-com from her, and I know in a lot of her books she uses like a lot more like women's fiction and literary fiction, and there's like a lot more to the characters and the story, but this one just sounds like it's going to be Emily Henry but a bit more fun. I do feel like this one does have the potential to be 5 stars because I am in the mood for like a fun romance like that, and it sounds different. It sounds like just what I need right now. So we're between these two. An amazing 2 books to have to choose from as well. Like, it's so hard. 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo or Funny Story. This is such a hard decision. I just keep coming back to the fact that I've got the women because it's going to be historical fiction. I feel like I'm going to need like a lot of like light-hearted reads after that one and before that one just to like appreciate it and let it settle in and not go into something that's too similar or character driven about women. So maybe not this one. I think we're going to go for Funny Story as my like fun romance read of the month. I'm not mad about it. I am actually really excited by it. So yeah, we're gonna go with Funny Story by Emily Henry as pick number 5. Okay, so we have our fun romance read for the month. What am I missing? What do I need? I've got fantasy, I've got historical fiction, I've got romance, I've got a thriller, kind of YA thriller. I don't know, could be anything. Right, 6th and final pick. Let's see. I love how this just gets me to choose like the perfect TBR without me really knowing what I'm wanting. Number 6. Oh, is that upside down? Goodreads homepage. This is another one that I've had before, so I'm going to need to get rid of this one, but it was a good selection last time, so I thought I'd add it back in. Okay, Goodreads homepage. So I'm going to record my screen again. So we're back on Goodreads. Let's just hit home. Oh no, not that one. Let's just hit discover. Okay, so what's on here? Is any of this on my TBR? Nothing at the top. 76 children's books. I don't think any of those are going to be on my TBR. I see a book on here that is the 4th or something in the series, Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. I think this is like the 4th book in that series, and it's one that I want to get into, but I don't have that one on my list. I have the 1st book in the series on my list to read, so does that count? Swift and Saddled, is that the 1st one? Let's just scroll down a bit and see what else we've got. Nothing on there. I don't really want to read Metal Sling. Oh, Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I do have this one on my list, so that could be a good one, and it's a sci-fi. I don't have a sci-fi yet. We could choose that one. I don't really think I'm feeling it. With the current selection, I don't think I'm feeling that one. I think that's it. Without scrolling through everything, I think I'm going to go for the Lila Sage. I think I'm going to do that. So what's in Done and Dusted? See, it's on my list. So Done and Dusted. It's only because I don't add all the books in a series usually to my TBR until like I've read the next one. So once I read this one, I'll add the next one, and I do it like that. So technically it's just because of the way I add it that one wasn't there. I'm trying to justify it to myself and justify it to you, but I already know I'm going to go with Done and Dusted because I feel like it's going to be the perfect cowboy romance. I haven't actually read a cowboy romance yet as well, so it's something that I need to get into, and then I can start Elsie Silver and all her books. There's just so much to get into there. So the Done and Dusted series could be a nice entry into cowboy romance, and I think it also fits perfectly with my TBR. So I'm going to go with that. We're going to go with Done and Dusted by Lila Sage as my 6th pick. And again, another great TBR from the TBR jar. Okay, so let's recap the 6 books that are going to be on my August TBR. So first up, we chose The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, which is going to be a fun YA mystery series for me to get into. And then next up, we chose The Women by Kristen Hanna, a bit of historical fiction, something a bit deeper and a bit more emotional for me to get into this month. I'm excited for this one too. And then we chose The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen, and I can't wait to get stuck into a good romance fantasy series. It's exactly what I wanted this month, so I'm glad that we could pick that one. And then the 4th pick was The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling. We have a witchy Halloween romance for August. There's not much else to say on it other than that. And then the 5th pick was Funny Story by Emily Henry, and I'm just excited to get into another Emily Henry, and I'm excited to see if this is going to be my second 5-star from her as well. And then finally we have Done and Dusted by Lila Sage, which is the first book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. My first cowboy romance and just a nice palette cleanser for the month, I'm hoping. These are the books that I'm going to be reading in August. I'm excited to read all of them, even the X-Hex, even though I don't seem like I'm excited. It should be a fun read. So those are the 6 books that I'm going to be reading in August. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of those and what you thought of them, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye!